Hello and welcome to tonight's episode of Tales of Athanasia, where we just play D&D and it's fun. Tonight, our adventurers are moving on from one arc to the next. You have explored the Siren Sea and recovered 3 spirit stones. You recovered the Weatherstone, which you entrusted to Prague, the giant dendrite who is now hanging out with the key. As its, what was the thing we decided he was? Quartermaster? The quartermaster. You also have gained the Darkstone, which Hero still has in her possession inside of a bag of sand taken from the Pirates' Bay. And finally, the Divination Stone, which Yara has reclaimed for herself and already given several prophecies using the stone. Your next target that you have decided upon, after having asked the Divination Stone for a prophecy and having received one, you resolve to follow the trail to the Fate Stone, which you believe is located in the marshlands. And I am going to now refer to what I have named the Athanasia Minecraft map, because it looks like Minecraft. So
now, we also got the light stone, right? Right there at the end.
Yes, yeah. You did. You had that delivered.
Yeah.
So.
The easiest stone we've ever gotten.
Well, right there. I mean, to be fair, you acquired it once upon a time, and you just entrusted it to somebody else. So
I know it just sounded funny that it just poop. We just
you had that one delivered. You got that one from what's that delivery service called? From DoorDash. DoorDash.
Yeah.
I mean, I got more money. We could probably get some more.
Is it Portal Dash instead of
Portal
Dash? Warp Dash. Door Warp? Nope. We'll workshop.
Dimension Door Dash.
Oh, there it is. There it is. Dimension Door Dash.
Dimension Dash.
Dimension Dash. Oh. I kind of like the Dimension Door Dash. That's kind of fun. For giving us a meta reference to the Warp Guild's delivery service, Chad, I'll go ahead and restore your bumped inspiration die for this evening.
I'll lose it for saying something annoying later, so I'll take it.
Sure you would. Okay, so if you refer to the Minecraft map and you are interested in actually understanding what's going on, you'll notice that Pirates Bay is located in column AA, row 19. I know this is a bit cumbersome, but it's a lot more accurate, easier to describe. You will see that the
Can you say this?
Which, as I will put in. Do what?
Can you say the coordinates again?
Sure, it's in column AA, row 19.
Did you post a link for that somewhere?
I did. It's on Classroom. If you go up to the top, you'll see the Athanasia Minecraft map link. So I'm going to go ahead and enter a reference here on your destination, which is column AD, row 18. So column AD, row 18 are the marches you were looking for, and I shall now name them so that you have something to refer to later, because I've discovered how difficult it is to reference something unless I give it a name. This is the Marshes of Madness. So you'll find the Marshes of Madness here on AD 18. We're going to handle travel basically by saying that each square is worth about a half day's travel, and following the rules for movement in 5th edition D&D, diagonals cost no extra movement. So moving to any adjacent square within those 8 surrounding the square that you're in would cost 1 half day of movement. Unless, of course, you had something fancy like the Weatherstone to make you go faster, in which case, with a successful navigation roll, you can theoretically improve that time.
Will I be able to assist him with those rolls?
If you have trained in something, you can assist on that kind of role.
Well,
Yes.
I've been the quartermaster before this, so that's why.
Correct. So you I think have you actually trained in navigator's tools or cartographer's tools yet?
Nope, but I have them.
How, how many successful checks have you made as the quartermaster
I
previously?
think we had at least 2.
Okay.
I always rolled pretty well.
You're welcome to continue assisting once you achieve a total of 3 successful checks. So this next one, if it's successful to assist, you're welcome to write down that you gain proficiency in the set of your choice. And then you can add your proficiency modifier from that on out. Okay, so as you guys depart Pilot's Bay, headed to the Marshes of Madness, is there anything you'd like to do over the course of the next day and a half, perhaps less, depending on our rolls? We'll assume the first 8 hours are used getting a solid rest. And because you have enough crew, you won't have to worry about watches. Someone will be available to keep watch while everybody's resting.
I do need to make checks for cooking.
Yes. You do now have cooking utensils, which means that you're no longer rolling it at a penalty on this. The DC is going to be a lot easier now that you have cooking utensils.
Okay.
How many of these have you succeeded on?
I succeeded on one, and I think it was strength-based,
Okay.
if I remember. I didn't write it down.
For clarity, I made it strength-based for comedic effect. You'll probably be using some mental stats, so it's your choice which.
Yes. Well, I will use the only one I have anything in, which is charisma. So
Okay.
I assist him.
how
Sure.
would I possibly use charisma with cooking? Well, with also intimidation, I'll Gordon Ramsay it up.
Yes.
I will just lay out a string of profanities at anyone who comes in the kitchen, but secretly I'm very sad and hollow.
Yes. Okay, so the interns at first are getting sort of tugged into the kitchen a little bit, but then of course they pull rank on the other people who are riding aboard, and they assign the twins to go help.
Okay.
So between Ronnie and the twins, you'll receive a +2, 1 each from the twins, and then Ronnie's bonus to cooking, whatever that might be.
Okay.
Survival.
Sure, that makes sense.
That's a 6.
Cool.
Okay. So I get to add eight total to this then?
Yes.
Ooh. And I rolled a 19.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah.
So do you have any other bonus to charisma?
Oh, +1. So yeah, 28 total, I guess.
Oh, wow. Okay. One thing that Rocky realizes over the course of these, you have a good night's sleep, you rest, you pull out your cooking tools, and you start to look at things. And as you start taking a spatula and trying really hard to scoop water out of a pot, Ronnie will take it out of your hand gently and hand you the ladle, and you begin to dip water into a cauldron, and you're like, oh, you're getting the hang of this. And then as you start sort of getting used to the presence of other people in this area, what used to be an alchemy lab is now feeling very much like a kitchen. And the twins, Jen and Jan, are there to sort of follow your every command. And what you realized over the course of this 3-4 hours that you spend slaving over a hot meal for everyone is that you were born to command people. This is your calling. You were meant to tell a lot of people what to do and then do very little yourself. And you realize this is the way to go, man. So you discover your inner chef, the Gordon Ramsay way.
Nice.
You prepare an excellent souffle. You have several sort of popovers that are there as well. There's a flan. You realize that basically everything that you've made basically just involves eggs. You felt like that was that was the ingredient of the day, and you were going to use that ingredient as much as possible.
Heck yeah.
So as the meal starts to cook and everything sort of begins to present itself as ready to eat, this smell starts to waft into other sections of the key, and suddenly Hero and Yara and they all start smelling this really something delicious coming from the alchemy lab.
I don't trust it.
Can you go investigate?
I mean, History is on your side for not trusting.
All right, Hero pokes her nose in and kind of, you see that there is a table laid out with a number of delectable treats, all made of egg.
Hero, would you like to try some of this?
Did you? Is it just Rocky, or do we see Ronnie in there too?
You see Jen, and Rocky all like just exhausted and like hair smeared to one side, and they got flour everywhere, and there's several sort of dark brown liquid stains on their aprons.
I would love to.
All right.
I try to be supportive consistently.
Here we go.
All right, so Dave, you have made your roll. You love it. This is good. You taste it. Your taste buds do not exist. So, Hero, happily, you discover that this is made of all the right ingredients, and it's not overcooked. It's not burnt. There's even a soupçon of saffron in this, and you're really impressed.
Rocky, this is amazing.
Oh, thank you. It's nothing. It's something we just whipped up.
Can I have seconds?
Who
Yeah.
are you, and what have you done with the real Rocky?
Yes. So, Hero, because you have successfully consumed a well-made meal, you may bump your inspiration die.
Oh,
You are inspired by this meal that Rocky has made.
I'll call out to the rest of the ship for everybody to get in here and try this amazing food. Rocky did so good.
Oh, shucks.
The captain eats last, so I will let everybody get their fill.
Fair enough. Jen and Jan meekly come up and both bow at you very forcefully because this is the sort of discipline that you've enacted in your kitchen, and they say, "Chef."
You did very well. Thank you for all your efforts.
Thank you, Chef.
I would love for you to continue on when you have ample time in helping me.
Oh, thank you, Chef. Yes, Chef.
I know that you have duties elsewhere as well, but please feel free to come by every single day to help me.
What is Rocky's passive insight? 10 plus your insight.
I don't think I have insight, so 10.
Okay, cool. Ronnie, what is Ronnie's passive insight?
16.
You notice that Jen and Jan are still sort of like half bowed and kind of staring at the table, sort of licking their lips.
Okay, you can go.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We'll let you know when it's
Chef.
time to clean up.
Thank you, Chef. They both kind of turn and obediently leave.
Oh, wait. Why don't you take some
Oh, it's too
on
nice.
your way out?
Thank you, Chef. They both turn and like grab several handfuls of things and just shove it on top of one of those it's sort of like a metal plate that you would put underneath something if you wanted to like put a Bunsen burner underneath it and like have it sort of sizzle down and become less moist and so on. So they use the alchemy supplies to sort of approximate what would be like a plate of food and then take off. Will anybody else be partaking in Rocky's magnificent meal?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, if nobody
Right,
else
Ronnie?
responds, I will probably like start cavorting around the key like with my plate and just being like, "Look at this! Go get some! Look at it!" Exactly.
All right. So, Ronnie, you go ahead and grab your fill of items from the table. It's delicious. Bran, are you coming anywhere near this place?
If I smell it, I'll come over.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you come in. You can detect that he actually used real, recently alive green onions.
Interesting. Not sure where you found those, but cool.
I don't know where you found the saffron either. That shit's expensive.
Yes.
Astrid had some supplies when she came, and I
Yeah.
tried to use them the best I could.
Astra actually checks to see with Jareth if she can come over and grab some food. She'll grab some for him as well, and she'll say, Rocky, you have outdone yourself. I did not know that you were so capable.
Me either.
So she'll kind of just take her plate, take enough for Jareth as well, and go back to her station. Yara, the crew cycles through, and there's enough for everybody. Are you interested in taking some?
Yes, I will take my share after everyone's had their fill.
All right. So everybody who eats the delicious meal may boost their inspiration die. Okay.
Yeah.
Other people, their journey. We'll handle the navigation roll next, actually. That will determine how long it's going to take you to get to the marshes. So I will roll for Prague, and you let me know what your bonus is on that, Chelsea.
Which is just wisdom, right?
Yeah.
And it's +5.
All right. So Prague finally gets the maps oriented the correct direction the first time, so you don't need to waste any time helping him with that. You suspect that he's also got a little bit of help from the Weatherstone. You suspect that it kind of, the equivalent, mechanically, equivalently, it would give him proficiency with any kind of navigators or cartographer's tools that he would be using if he didn't have it previously. So as he is studying the maps and you're sort of pointing out major locations you've been previously, he's able to roll high enough that you and he together are able to plot a course that will save you with a little bit of help from the wind and sort of taking advantage of some latent magnetic lines in the crust of the earth. You're able to save about a half a day's journey. So you suspect you can get there within a day.
Sweet.
Any other checks you guys would like to make?
No checks.
I don't
but
really. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say I'd like to reattune to the Darkstone. I think.
Oh, okay. Sounds good. You take the hour that it takes to reattune to the Darkstone. Just to confirm, attuning to a spirit stone does take one of your slots. No one has exceeded their maximum of 3 slots yet, have they?
This is the only thing I am attuned to.
Okay.
Personally.
All right. I think everybody else should have the appropriate number of attunements. All right. So you attune to the Darkstone. You retreat to one of the unused rooms and meditate in the way that you are wont to do, given your training. And as you finish that last several minutes, you can feel the weight of the Darkstone pulling you down. And it's interesting now that your heart has literally been pierced with the sight of the Lightstone, and where once you felt warm and less weighed down previously, now you start to feel the cold seeping in. You start to feel things becoming generally heavier, and you start to realize now, with this contrast, having gone between dark, light, and then back to dark again, so within so recent a time period, you also notice how oppressive. You start to view the light as something that has been sort of trying to hold you back, and it feels as if now that the Darkstone is reattuned to you, that suddenly all of those shackles are falling away and you are free to do anything you wish. And a little iota of dark begins to settle itself in your heart, and you begin to remember the joy that was the oblivion of outer darkness.
Sounds good.
All right. We should probably have Yara do a captain's check.
Yes.
So this will be, I'm going to guess and say like either charisma or intelligence. And then I don't think are you proficient in air vehicles? I think I gave you proficiency in air vehicles.
I have that now, yes.
So go ahead
Yep.
and add your proficiency as well.
Okay. That'll be an 18.
Excellent. you're able to command your new crew members with peak efficiency. There are still a couple of squabbles that break out between the old crew of the Maelstrom and the old crew of the pirate ship. But you're able to gather them together and basically either get them to resolve their differences or order them to get over it. And you're able to keep sort of the ship from being mired in conflict over the course of this next day. Let's see. Does a captain get proficiency in anything besides air vehicles? I'm trying to find information. Here we go. The captain.
We need information.
No, it doesn't look like you have proficiency with anything besides that, although do you have proficiency in the intimidation or persuasion skills?
Intimidation, yes.
Okay, so you're basically going to resolve the conflicts by shouting at them and making sure they follow your orders.
Yep.
How many successful checks have you made so far?
Towards captaineering?
Yeah.
I think I've hit my 3. I had.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I just hit the 3rd one not too long ago, and it was my not great check, but I rolled pretty good on it.
Okay, so because you have now acquired 3 successful checks, you gain proficiency with the persuasion skill.
Oh, okay, cool.
Charles, what's Bran doing this whole time?
Reading, hiding. That sort of
Reading
thing.
and hiding. Okay. Are you going to be banking any bonuses to a knowledge at all?
Honestly, I don't even know. I thought it was like the medic.
Yes, you're the surgeon. So, given everybody's wounds, cool. Do you have proficiency with an herbalism kit or the medicine skill?
Both.
Great. So you wouldn't be gaining any new proficiencies, but as you go ahead and give the crew a checkup on their physical health, go ahead and roll.
Everyone's getting physical. All right.
Yeah, go ahead and go for either herbalism or medicine, probably medicine, with proficiency to see how well you're able to keep everyone in tip-top shape.
This is going to be fun. That's a 33.
Oh my heavens. Okay, so with Bran taking regular appointments with everyone, cycling everyone through on the half hour, you're able to get through the entire crew over the course of the next 12 hours. And you basically help everyone to maintain their health in such a way that they're able to make the most of their resting periods. So the next time you take a short or a long, well, I guess a short rest. The next time you all take a short rest, you may double the amount of hit points you regain from rolled hit dice.
Nice.
Is that every time or just a one time?
The next one time that you take a short rest.
Yeah.
And this is all specifically because, like, all of you are able to make these checks because you have the resources available to you in the key. If you didn't have the key as a resource and sort of the available commodities and so on, the cook's utensils in the alchemy lab, which is now the kitchen, the room and the medical supplies and the ability to sort of like run through and make appointments and stuff like that. The key is kind of what allows you to make these kinds of checks. So as long as you have the key nearby and you can spend some time in it, you're able to continually refresh this each day. Okay, so for clarification, I'll also say that these bonuses last for 24 hours. So even if we if you don't use the inspiration die, for example, within the 24 hours in game, you wouldn't get the extra bump. Same thing with the short rest. If you don't short rest within 24 hours, you wouldn't get the bonus. All right, so that's good. Hero did something. Ronnie did something. Jareth, you are on the key. You are traveling over the course of a day. You've taken 8 hours to rest and level up, and everybody else, Lee and Ronnie, were able to get the twins to do a superb feast that bumped your inspiration die by 1 dice. You also have twice your HP replenished when you take your next short rest within 24 hours. The captain has just now gotten to the point where she is proficient in both persuasion and intimidation, which means, Captain, on your next check, you should be able to make additional bonuses. Rocky has made a thing. So I guess that means, is there anything that Jareth would like to do as the first mate over the course of this next day?
Jareth will tour the ship and be the best middle manager he can be. And make sure everybody is getting their jobs done appropriately to the specifications that I just made up.
Fair enough. So, Jareth, go ahead and roll. Okay, first question. Do you have proficiency in intimidation or persuasion?
I don't think so. Let me check.
I'm not that kind of bod.
Oh, yes, I do. Actually, I have persuasion.
Do you have proficiency in intimidation?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. How many
No.
successful checks have you made toward being a first mate so far?
1.
Okay. So go ahead and we'll call this a persuasion check to
Okay.
convince everyone that you know what you're doing and that your way is correct.
29.
Holy mother. Okay, yeah. So Jareth goes about, Astra essentially asks for a little bit of on-the-job training, and she's trying to get familiar with the ship. And as you're showing her the utilities and the arcane holograms and everything, the crew members are also a little scattered and not really understanding what they're supposed to do. And your sort of managerial spirit kicks in, and you begin to call everybody to their stations, assign them to their jobs, and explain to them what they're supposed to be doing. You're able to get them in enough sort of order and enough of a rhythm that they start to sort of agree with each other a little bit better. That, combined with the captain's check to sort of get everyone rallied together and resolve their differences, allows all of these crew members to act as one whole unit, as opposed to two separate ones. Because that could have been a possibility. If you were able to get them all to work together, you would have had to rely on either one set or the other. But luckily, you all are good leaders. So you're able to get them to work. All right. I think that takes care of any checks that you guys might need to do. Is there anything you like, any conversations you'd like to have, any plans you'd like to make prior to arriving in the swamps?
I don't have anything. I just probably just going around and checking and make sure that we're ship shape, I suppose. We got a lot of new crew members and that have piled onto the ship, so.
How much damage did the key take in its recent battles that has not yet been repaired?
Let me look. I'm sure I wrote that down in a chicken scratch note somewhere. Hopefully. I know we did take some. I want to say it was around 20 to 30 points of damage. Try to find it. We didn't take any in the last fight, though. It would have been the one before that.
Sure.
Let's just split the difference and say it was like 25.
So with 25 hit points down, that puts the key at, its hull has 300 points. Okay. So, nope. Yeah. Rocky, while you all are sort of finishing up your food and you're on your way, you have a bit of an opportunity to kind of double check the other stone spirits, make sure that they're sort of performing their functions appropriately and so on. Commiserate with them a little bit. You start to hear this banging noise coming from one of the one of the wings of the key. You also start to hear a goblin swearing loudly.
What in Earl of Sung's fuzzy navel is going on here?
Do you investigate?
Oh, yes.
Okay. You notice that the goblin is the way it sounds outside the ship.
All right. Before I go, I'll say, hey, you, twin, stir this.
Yes, chef. It should go. Sorry.
All right.
So you can hear the banging coming from outside the ship, and it looks like one of the irises is open.
Are we flying?
You are currently flying. Yes.
Okay, so I'll just stick my head out and see what's going on.
Okay. You notice that the goblin and his parrot, who is now clinging with open claws onto the goblin's shoulder, the goblin appears to be taking a sledgehammer to the outside of the ship, and it looks like he's trying to repair one of the large dents in the hull. But unfortunately, he's doing it from the outside, so it's actually going further and further into the key. You notice that he's done what amounts to essentially a couple points of bludgeoning damage attempting to repair this.
Hey! It's already dented this way. You gotta hammer the other way. Look, it's already dented here. Your hammering's just making it more dented. Listen, friend. It's already bent here. You gotta go the other way.
Go ahead and make a persuasion check at disadvantage.
Ooh, one of them was a natural 20.
Oh!
Persuasion?
Uh-huh.
17 total.
Okay, fair enough.
That was pretty good. So
The goblin stares you dead in the eyes, and he's like,
If you hit the ship one more time from out here, I will throw you off. Intimidation.
okay, fair enough. Yeah, go ahead and roll.
18.
He kind of cowers a little bit. He clutches his sledgehammer a little more closely to his body, and he says, "Fine. What is wrong with me?"
Come in here. Do it from the other side.
So he'll go along, and then, of course, the universe
activate scything blades.
Do you actually?
I kind of want to. If I knew about this going on, I would.
Yeah. So he takes a single step as if he's trying to drop through the hole, and the universal gravity rights him on the other side in one smooth step. He's kind of learned how to get between the two locations pretty smoothly. And he looks on what's now the floor, and he kind of stares at it. He says,
Yeah. I'll turn my hand into a maul, and I'll help him.
okay, so go ahead and what's your athletics check skill bonus?
Athletics is plus 10.
Okay. He will roll his thing plus his athletics. Oh, wow. That's great, actually. So that's...
You just smash him into the dent. Problem solved.
Okay.
Goblin buddy.
So not only do you assist him in getting this dent back to where it was before, you also help him to learn how to bang a little bit more productively on the hull and get it to back to where it should be. Between the two of you, you're able to effectively heal the ship of a total of 8 points, 8 hit points.
Nice.
So where it had been at 27, now it's at 19. And I'm going to put that in your hands, Yara. So it's got 19 damage down so far. He also, now that he has made a successful check with your help, will go ahead and spend several more hours to see if he can improve upon the things you've taught him. Do you assist?
No, I go back to the kitchen.
Okay, great. The next hour's worth of work, it looks like he has damaged the ship by 1 more hit point. And finally, on the 3rd hour, he rolls a natural 20, adds his +5 bonus, and heals the ship completely of all of its damage. It took a little bit. It was a bit of a learning curve, but he got there. So the ship is now at full HP. All right. So everyone stares at each other in silence as you arrive.
So at some point during all of that, I probably would have passed Jareth and said, that guy's an idiot. You might want to watch him.
Yes. That said, the captain of the other ship swears that he is the best. So,
Well, then I don't trust her any further than I can throw her either at this point.
likewise.
She's standing right next to you. Hey. She's literally shadowing you the entire time, trying to learn how to be a good mate.
I'll just stare at her.
She'll stare back.
I don't have eyelids. I can do this all day.
Okay, she's going to make a Constitution saving throw to see how long she can last. Not long, like a couple minutes. All right. All right. So nothing else. No plans. You guys want to have a war table or anything?
Who's the de facto leader of the other pirate group we just picked up? Is that Martine?
Yeah, well, kind of. It seems like among those present, everyone kind of listens to Gideon, even if they don't like what he's saying. And Martin seems to be his right-hand guy. So while he wasn't the captain by any means, and he wasn't even the first mate, they kind of looked at him like a ranking officer. And he and Martin were pretty tight. And then somewhere in the ship, the Darkstone compels Hero to knock over the alchemy lab.
I will go looking for either one of those. It doesn't matter which one, whoever I come across first.
Okay. You find Martin first. It looks like Yara. Have you given him back his rapier at all, or are you keeping it?
I think they had to hand
each.
Yeah, they had to take. Well, I don't know if we confiscated all their weapons or if we just had to dump everything.
I mean, they dumped him into a pile next to the fire, except for Martin, who literally handed you his sword and basically swore fealty.
Yeah, I think at this point, Martin can have his weapon back.
Okay, so you find him polishing his rapier and sharpening it on a sharpening stone.
Good day, Martin. I have a question.
My lord.
This area.
I'm sorry?
Are you familiar with this area?
Yes, of course. I have traveled these seas for all of my life.
Great. Are you aware of the marshes where we are headed?
Oh, are you discussing the Marshes of Madness?
Can you
I
guys
thought it was just me.
very well?
Yeah, you're really quiet, dude.
Yeah, I can hardly hear you too.
Hang on, let me check some settings real quick.
That's even less now.
The adjustment of these settings brought to you by Hero Forge, not a sponsor.
Speaking of Hero Forge, I think they released bagpipes today. I thought it was funny.
Well,
Oh my god!
Allison at work.
One more reason to get Jareth his own mini.
I did not take it as a complaint. I took it as an exciting new
No.
thing.
Yes.
Test.
It's about the same volume.
Yeah. I can see it barely moving. Hang on one second.
Um, yeah, it was pretty much fine until just now. Jen and Jan look like Rocky. They look like they're talking quietly to themselves as they stir appropriate dishes, and one of them begins to sort of chop vegetables a little bit forcefully. Looks over her shoulder.
How about now?
Yeah, sounds good.
I just changed microphone. Okay. If you're familiar with this area, are you familiar with the marshes?
Oh yes, of course. The marshes of madness. They are said to house the dangerous stranger from another land.
Is there any other information about this stranger?
Interesting. What would you like to know?
What's his general description like? I mean, is he tall? What race is he?
They say that the stranger is never actually seen, but only heard. Except that no one has ever been able to come back with any reports except hearing their loved ones in danger. And then, of course, they are never heard from again.
So somebody hears that, gets a story that their loved ones are in danger, like at the marsh, and then they go to the marsh and then never come back?
Yes, they usually wander around, and as I say, I've never seen or heard from again. The stories tell of perhaps mothers going off to find their lost children, and because they have no one around to help them, they bring the remaining children with them, and as the mother wanders off into the fog, then she never comes back. The children, of course, then orphaned, return to town, tell their tale, and are taken in. And people, of course, are wary to then go into the marshes for that reason. So not very much is known about the stranger beyond that.
Interesting. How easy is it to well, I guess we have a flying ship, so traversing the marshes won't be a problem.
Not terribly difficult, no, although there is a bit of a problem when it comes to magic when you get closer to the marshes. I would assume that this craft runs on magic?
Sure.
Nobody knows.
They say that the closer you get to the marshes, the more difficult it is to channel mana into specific shapes. Those potions and other items that are reliable up until that point begin to lose their efficacy, as if the magic is pushed away.
Well, that's good to know. Does it only affect items?
That is an excellent question. I have never done any arcane research myself.
Understandable. Can you think of any other information that would be pertinent to helping us find an item in the swamp? I don't know if we've told him about our quest or anything.
It's up to you guys what you tell the crew.
I think I've told some of them for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're going after one of the stones of power in the marshes. Can you think of anything else pertinent to us going into the marshes in search of that? That would be helpful.
Well, certainly the tales suggest that there is a fog that confuses those who enter, and you may be wanting to be wary of that. Find some way, perhaps, to find your way back after you venture forth. You may also be interested in which stone in particular are you searching for?
I don't remember.
It's the Fate Stone.
It's the Fate Stone? Okay.
Well, if it was anything like our experience on the island, then he kind of shivers a little bit as he remembers what happened. It seems that it was picked up relatively quickly, and the power of the stone appeared to be channeling itself through our dead captain. I would wager that if you are adventuring forth into an area where a stone is currently active, you may be prepared to expect something along the lines of what you experienced on Pirates Bay, where the stone itself is expressing its magic over the course of the area.
Yeah, yes, we have quite a bit of experience with that. Most of the stones exert some kind of will over the area they must overcome. We've been to the Dreaming Desert, and most of that was affected by one of the stones.
Ah, indeed. Which stone was affecting the Dreaming Desert?
The Mind Stone.
Ah, it must have been quite a psychedelic trip, I imagine.
It was, yes, it was very interesting, very introspective.
Indeed.
Drank
You
a lot of
seem
tea.
to drink a lot of tea, you say? You and your party seem to be very resilient in the face of very odd things. You must have seen a lot in your journeys.
We have. I myself am actually a traveling bard.
Indeed. You have many instruments on your person. I can see a set of bagpipes, perhaps?
Aye, bagpipes and a mandolin.
Oh, a mandolin, you say? That reminds me of my home back in Puerto Ugania. They played the mandolin quite often, although it was a little bit different than the style of you northerners. It was more quick and sharp and had a lot of sort of flair to it.
Oh, like this, and I pull it out and I kind of start playing some flamenco.
Okay, great, yeah. Go ahead and do a performance check.
Lol. This is going to be terrible.
Like this. Boing, boing, boing.
22. Actually,
22.
That's
Okay.
probably my best performance role I've ever had.
Hey, it's good. Like, you've actually heard of Puerto Ugania in the tales, and you kind of know
What kind of bard?
you know what you're talking about. You've actually heard of this kind of music, and you begin playing something that's actually really rather good. And he says, "You are aware of the songs of my homeland?"
Yes, I'm quite traveled.
You are an impressive person. I never expected this.
Well, I'm more from the north. I've made a couple trips down south.
Oh, indeed. Tell me, would you happen to have gotten as far south as perhaps there is an island off the coast of Puerto Ugania? I believe they call it Valencia. Have you ever been there?
No, I've not done very many sea voyages, and I believe my caravan was I was in a caravan at the time, and we were just kind of passing through the area, going city to city. So,
Alas, it is a shame. They have a lovely troupe of dancing women. They are beautifully dressed. They happen to have one particular mouse that I am interested in. If I ever get back there, I might let her know how I feel about her.
yes, I don't know that I would. Yes, I don't know how well I'd be particularly received on an island of mice folk.
Oh, well, it is not all mice folk, of course. But they are one of the minorities. There are other sort of folk out there as well. They've got your basic sows and pigs and so on. There are some badgers. If you wish to meet them, I can introduce you to an armadillo. He's very nice.
I'm quite sure. I was mostly making light of the fact that I am a feline.
Ah, well, your point is well taken. If I were not a brave, very brave mouse myself, I'm sure that I would be cowering in your presence. You are quite mighty.
Oh, thank you quite much, Sir Mouse.
Oh, yes, of course. Please, call me Martin. That is what my friends call me.
Aye, my team. Come, let us go and speak with the others and share the knowledge of the marsh, so we may prepare before going in.
But of course, and he'll sort of stand up and push his rapier in the air and then sheath it quickly. He says, "Lead the way, senor."
All right, so I go share with the information with the rest of the group and see if we want to make any preparations before going into the marshes of doom.
Yes, the Marshes of Madness.
I want to make sure that I have the warp stone with me and I don't leave it on the cave when we go.
Okay. That's actually a good thought. Which stones do you guys plan to take versus which ones do you plan to leave? As of currently, I think we've agreed that the Weatherstone is going to stay with Prague. Time Stone?
Yeah, I'll probably leave it. I don't like taking it out of the ship.
All right. Is the Lightstone coming with?
I feel like it should.
I would probably need to attune to it, or whoever wants to use it.
I think I'll take.
Use it?
I'll take the divination stone, but I won't take anything else.
Okay. So, as Hero is offered the Lightstone, what does she do?
Oh, I was.
My precious.
I just kind of stare at it for a second.
It's still currently in that small square box.
Oh, okay. We'll just test this. Why don't you crack that open just a little bit? I just want to see something.
It burns.
Oh! Okay, so Ronnie will point.
Is that Ronnie's mini case, yeah?
Oh!
Ronnie will point the box at you and open it up. Hero, go ahead and give me a Constitution saving throw. No, it would be a Wisdom saving throw.
I didn't just grab it. You said a Wisdom.
Wisdom.
Oh, I leveled up to 15, which means I am now proficient in all saving throws.
Ooh, lovely.
I rolled a 27.
Wow. Okay. Because you have resisted the inexorable might of the Lightstone, you are so suffused with the darkness, you can choose. Would you rather the Lightstone take place in your heart, at which point the Darkstone will unattune, or would you rather resist it and cling to the darkness?
Made it really difficult because I know that army's coming, so we probably need the Lightstone, but also earlier this second. I'll leave it to a roll again. Above 10, I will take the Lightstone. Below 10, I'll take the Darkstone. 16, Lightstone.
Okay. So you reach out, and the darkness within you begins to scream. As your hand gets closer, you feel a very familiar sensation on your skin. This is, and Hero would know exactly what this means and what it means to feel it. She's felt it herself. As her hand gets closer, and as she wraps her fingers and then her entire hand around the Lightstone, she feels a searing pain, exactly like the experience she had upon her first plunge into outer darkness, what she knows as the fires of hell. Go ahead and make a Constitution saving throw.
That doesn't sound pleasant.
Please, I'm a tiefling.
Yeah.
Non-natural 20.
Non-natural 20. All right. You only take 9 points of fire damage that cannot be reduced by resistance.
Oh, okay.
You also find that your maximum hit points are reduced by a similar amount.
I just got those.
Hmm.
All right.
Now, it doesn't do any additional damage. And while you are holding it, the Darkstone unattunes from you. And it immediately feels as if this Darkstone is attempting to escape your grasp, like it's magnetically charged, identical to you, and therefore would be repelling itself from you. So unless you actively attempt to hold on to it, it will fall away.
Can I, drop it in a pocket?
You can certainly try.
I'll do that.
Yes. Go ahead and make we'll call this a dexterity saving throw.
Unless somebody else wants it, but I don't know about that. 18.
Okay. You successfully hang on to it, and as you plunge it into your pocket and attempt to let go, you sense that it's essentially trying to escape you, and so it escapes into the pocket. But then you feel it sort of pressing away from your skin as much as it can. So it's there.
Well, that was worse than I thought it was going to be.
You also get the sense that the light stone, now that you've released the dark stone, begins to soothe the ache in your hand and arm. And where not quite numbness, but just this soothing calm that kind of washes over you. You feel that warmth return. And what you previously thought of as the joy of freedom that can be found in the dark, you now realize with an acute sort of thought that was a lie, that sensation, that emotion was total garbage. And you now realize that the only actual truth is that there must be pain for there to be purity.
Wow.
Oh my.
My face goes through a bunch of changes in these few minutes. All right.
You okay?
No, I'm great. I'm great. Did you? Did Ronnie pick any spells for this stone that I should know about? No. No. Okay.
I actually just tried to look at the PDF, and the first page for Lightstone cannot be loaded.
Oh no!
So,
Well, refresh.
I will have to use any spells.
And can you remind me, at this unawakened level, is it just a cantrip? I'm sorry, is it 2 talents or just 1?
Let me check my notes. The Lightstone currently has 2 talents,
Okay.
which also would give it 3 spell points.
Okay. All right.
I'll let you think about which ones you want. You're welcome to do that. Would you like to attune to the Lightstone?
Yes, I would.
As you attune to the Lightstone, your meter immediately bestows upon you 1 instance of bonus to your proficiency using the light talents. And while you hold the Lightstone, your fiendish abilities are not available to you.
Ooh, that's nice. Okay. Good to know.
So you are on your way toward your maximum proficiency bonus, in addition to your normal proficiency bonus with your light
Gotcha.
abilities.
Okay, awesome. All right then.
Okay. So you spend the next hour attuning to the Lightstone. Anything else you guys wish to do? Oh, which other stones are you taking with you? So we said time is getting left behind, correct?
I think so. I think that's what he said.
Okay,
Yes.
light is with Hero. The warp stone is with Ronnie.
Do we want to take the Mind Stone? Or do we want to leave that?
It might be beneficial to bring it if it sounds like there's some mind altering effects. If it can protect us from those, that'd be useful.
I think all I can do with it is talk to people.
Yeah,
But we probably need telepathy anyway.
That'd be useful either anyway.
I'll bring
So
it.
what you recall from the last time we talked about this was that the Mind Stone with the talents that we agreed to will basically make it possible for you to relay messages across planes, even between anybody who has been designated by touching the Mind Stone as a member of the crew. So you do not need it on you in order to communicate with each other. You essentially use it as a relay no matter where you are. So you can send each other messages up to 25 words at will. I will say, though, it has 6 spell points, and whether you have it or not, each message of 25 words will require 1 spell point.
Well, don't we need it near us anyway to just like whisper to each other?
No, you guys have got your badges. The badges work, and then Rocky's able to communicate within 60 feet telepathically anyway.
Okay, I thought for some reason we had to be near the Mind Stone in order to do that, but okay.
Yeah. So the badges work completely independently of the Mind Stone. So I hear you saying that the Mind Stone can stay aboard the ship. Death Stone. Aboard the ship, I guess.
Yeah, I'm leaving the Death Stone.
Okay. Protection Stone is Finny. That'll be with Bran. Unless Bran wants to leave him behind. Alteration Stone, Bran?
Yeah, I'm keeping it. Like, are we
Okay.
trusting these people with a death stone?
I don't
Have
really
we show
want
them how to pull it out?
Yeah, we got the key club, remember?
I mean, okay.
They can't take it out.
Rocky, I assume you're taking your Destruction Stone powers with you. Yaris, she's taking the Divination Stone. The Dark Stone is with Hero. You're not going to leave that on the ship, Hero?
No, I think it's safer with us if we know that the army's coming for the Darkstone. I'd rather have it here.
And then the Weatherstone is going with Prague. Okay. So I have the following stones aboard the Key, the Time Stone, the Death Stone, and the Mind Stone. All the others are with someone. So there are three stones aboard the Key at the moment. Okay. So your journey proceeds. Any other preparations you wish to make before you arrive at the marshes?
Who's going to be left in command? Probably should figure that out. I assume the captain of the first ship that we picked up.
So Astra, she's your first mate in training, so she would have, technically according to the command structure that you've built so far, she would be automatically in command anyway.
Okay, so I'll just formally let her know she's in charge, even though it's already apparent that that's the case.
You have the bridge, number one.
Yeah. Make it so. And yeah, to make sure that she knows that like we're leaving stones on the ship, so only herself and perhaps a few of the trusted members.
Sure. For right now, because she doesn't know of anybody on the from the pirate crew that can be trusted, she's going to go ahead and limit exposure to the stones and operating the stones to her own crew. Are you wanting to take any of the NPCs with you on your adventure into the marshes, or would you rather stay with who you got?
Bring the goblin with us. He can scout.
Shouldn't we leave a bosun on board to keep trying to repair stuff?
I mean, fine.
Ronnie's like, I was trying to get him killed, but sure, fine, Yar, put him to work.
I know what you were trying to do. No, I think just leaving everybody on board's fine.
So everybody's going to be adventuring forth with the core party and the stones you got with you. Excellent. All right, you arrive in the area as you travel. The sea sort of passes underneath you. You, with the Weatherstone, Prague is able to cause the wind to be even a greater help. You're able to travel at your maximum speed using the sails, which I think is 30. Is it 50 or 60 with sails?
With the sails.
Yeah. The Weatherstone gives you sails that make it a speed of 60 feet into or against the wind. Nice. So it's moving at a 60 feet per round movement, and as it continues in its sort of path, you see the first thing you see is on the horizon is a forest, as these sort of wetland trees can be seen kind of manifesting themselves as sort of this large green and brown mass. The land comes closer, and you can see that the marshy wetlands begin to stretch to your left, so to the north and east. And then to the south, you see a drier sort of landmass. And finally, as you get closer, you are able to tell that with the sun sort of now getting low in the sky behind you, there is a thick fog coming off of these wetlands. And as you get within maybe 500 feet, you start to notice that the arcane holograms that give you the display begin to flicker. And each round that you get closer to this fog, you notice that the displays begin to scatter. And you notice that there's one very large sort of lurch as the whole ship kind of like momentarily powers off and back on again.
I think this might be about as close as we can get.
I think you're right. Whatever field is around this marsh is certainly starting to affect the ship. Can't risk getting any closer.
So do you call an all stop?
Yeah, let's just plunge right in. No. Yeah, I'll start fully calling for a
Okay.
stop.
So you guys slow down just inside of 400 feet or so, and it looks like even at this distance, while the ship isn't in danger of shutting off, it does look like it's kind of scrambling the readings inside the ship. You do also notice that the divination stone gets a ping. And as you pull the display up, it is a bit scattered, but you notice that is with a flickering label in Terran identifying the word fate. And
it appears that the Fate Stone is close by, but these readings are unreliable, of course, because of the interference.
General location or direction?
Can I tell from this, or is it just like beep, boop, boop, like it's erratic, it's not really showing me?
Yeah, it is pretty erratic. It seems to be coming up at different locations, sometimes two at a time, and all of them, however, are somewhere inside the fog.
Fantastic.
No, only that it lies further.
Also see the divination stone. Actually, what's your give me an air vehicles check.
Oh, 23.
Nice. There's one reading that you're able to actually make out more clearly than the rest of them as you use your arcane influence to kind of reinforce the system, since it seems to be in this sort of static zone.
Just like pumping spell points into it.
Yeah, so you momentarily supercharge the system and it's able to stabilize for a moment, and you get one solid reading off of the Fate Stone. It appears to be in the exact center of the fog. In addition, you also find that there's another reading that appears to be labeled Fang, and it has this outline, nothing other than that, but it appears identical to the small the bit that you have on the outside of your ship.
Oh, where's that at relative to the Fate Zone?
In the fog.
Just in the fog somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, if you wanted to estimate, you would say that the Fate Stone is probably dead center, while the thing labeled Fang is somewhere is like northwest of that location.
Okay. Interesting. It appears that there's another readout here. It may be an additional bit for the ship.
Huh?
Awesome treasure.
Loot! We'll hawk it at the next town.
No, not loot, mandolin.
Ha ha. It's another instrument, yeah. In any case, as far as I can tell, the Fate Stone lies in the center of the fog, but considering how unreliable these readings are, I only imagine it's going to be more difficult to navigate our way to the center.
Are we over land yet?
You are, let's see, so you're about just inside of 400 feet away from the nearest shore, and that's north of you. If you wanted to skirt around the marshes, you could probably land somewhere inside of that forested woodland area, and then maybe venture back west into the marshes.
Well, we can't swim our way to shore. So let's land near the forest, and then we can make our way on foot from there.
Okay. So you go in. It takes a second, but you're able to find a suitable landing location. Unfortunately, the nearest spot, because the forest literally goes off into the water, almost as if the sea level has risen at some point after these trees sort of rooted themselves. You see that there's a good several hundred feet worth of trees that go off in this forested area. You estimate that you'd have to fly for maybe another hour or so north if you wanted to find actual clearing that allowed you to land on solid ground. But if you're willing to fly around for maybe 5 minutes, you can find one that's shallow enough that you could rest the key and then sort of climb off and be in maybe ankle-deep water.
I think that's fair enough. No sense to go all the way to a clearing. We can climb our way down.
Okay. So as you guys exit the key, Astra immediately takes command, seamlessly assuming control of the ship and making sure that it's being guided by a firm hand. She, as you're departing Yara, she says, "Do you need us to meet you up anywhere?"
I would stay nearby this location. That way we know where you're at.
Hold on. I'm going to have her touch the Mind Stone. So touch it. All right. Now we can talk to you, if I understand that correctly.
So you use the Mind Stone. You communicate with Artak, and he says, "Yes, hello."
And we might need to contact her, and she might need to contact us.
One moment, and he sense this pause as between the two of your minds, you sense that same sort of psychic knock as Astra's consciousness opens to you and the rest of your party, and Astra suddenly thinks before she realizes that, my goodness, what in the world? Oh, that is very alarming. And then she says out loud, "That is perhaps the strangest thing I have ever experienced in my life. I have never been conscious while another stone spirit was inside of me."
Yeah, but it worked.
Artax says, "Yes, everything's fine. We're able to communicate freely if you choose."
Cool. We will let you know where to meet us if we need you urgently.
Don't call us. We'll call you.
Yes.
But if
Believe
there's
me.
an emergency, you should probably call us.
Very well. I will make sure to protect the ship, keep it incognito if possible, and if any danger comes up, I will communicate with you.
Actually, yeah, slim chance. But if you see like a bunch of darkness on the horizon, just kind of give us a little text or something. Just if you see shadows doing anything weird.
Right. She sort of looks around and looks it looks westward as the sun is getting near the horizon, and she says, "Well, to be honest, I think it will be shadowy pretty soon anyway. So I'll let you know if anything amiss happens."
Yeah. Do that.
Very good.
The darkness is here. It's the text.
He wouldn't just write he would just say
Before we leave, I just had a thought. Artax?
Yes.
Does the Fate Stone, do you have, I know it's been a while since you all have gotten together, but did it by chance have any affinity for the Time Stone?
Not that I can recall. Foldion doesn't really have anything to do. Mixing my accents. Hang on a second.
It's turned Spanish.
Yeah.
Text.
I got a lot of accents going on here, guys. Another correction voice act. Let's see if I can say. Hello. Yes. Right. No, Foldion hasn't really had anything to do with the Time Stone necessarily. She was more about the possibilities, the alternatives, the cause and affect chain reactions, things of that nature. Possibly secondarily related, only insofar as affecting which direction time would flow, but not changing it necessarily.
Okay, I thought they might be, seeing as fate and time are kind of related, I thought they might gravitate towards one another, possibly, but...
Think of it this way. If time is a river, fate is the valley. It determines the course.
Understood. Just the thought I had. I'll go ahead and leave the time stone here.
Very well.
Yeah, a nice thought. If it had been more chummy, perhaps.
Yes, that was my thinking. Maybe they were real chums, or maybe even past lovers. But...
Oh, perhaps fate and time had a thing. I'll go ahead and
They're
put
spirits. Philistine. Wink, wink. Say no more, say no more.
The name
Anyway,
that he mentioned was Phodion, and I've gone ahead and put that into the chat so you guys can see that.
I will never pronounce that correctly.
I hardly pronounce any of these are correct.
I
Are
can't
they all like,
pronounce myself correctly.
are these all like Welsh or something? Is that where you
They
got a
are
lot of
literally all pulled from Welsh, yes.
Yeah, that's why I can't pronounce any of this.
Phoebe. It's obvious, man.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. All right. So you guys exit the key, having left it in the hands of Astra, who you've now connected to Mind Stone. You plop down into the ankle to thigh deep water and sort of trudge your way through the marshland.
Before we disembark, I'll just tell the twins, hey, John and Jane or whatever. Whatever. I don't care. We're gonna want some sandwiches when we get back.
Oh my gosh.
So like, something meaty and with maybe some crisp vegetables. Make sure those are ready when we get back.
Jen actually
We
goes
have
over to the
none of
table,
those things.
lifts
Oh, no,
up
we
the
did. We
platter,
resupplied. That's right.
and she raises a platter of what looks like 6 sandwiches that she's already made.
Those
Okay.
For later, or can we have them now?
Well,
I'll grab them all and just take them. All right. That
All
looks
right.
good. Make some more for later.
yes, chef. They turned back and they were like, well, I guess we'll have to make something for our lunch now.
Good work keeping them in line, Rocky. They show initiative. I like that. They anticipated your needs.
Yeah, they've got potential, I guess, a little bit.
Okay.
I say while they're standing right behind me.
Yeah, this is clearly out in the open. We're not trying to like.
No, you guys have never been the most tactful bunch, so this is not surprising. All right. So you head off into the marshlands.
Do we want to
Squelch.
take any breaks since it's 8:30?
Yeah, this is a good place to.
Yeah, I'll pass out the sandwiches and we can take a break.
Okay. So Rocky hands out the sandwiches, and now everybody has a chance to go grab a snack. We'll see you in 5 minutes.
Yeah. These sandwiches aren't bad.
Okay, about that.
Nice. Here we are.
And now we're echoing.
Now we're echoing for some reason.
That's better.
All right, you guys find yourself in the swampland. Bran begins communing with nature and summons some animals, and they'll arrive at some point. You begin to trudge into the quickly darkening environment. You realize that now, with the lateness of the hour, coupled with the thickness of this canopy, you quickly discover that you will need to rely on dark vision or some kind of light source the further in you get. How would you guys like to handle that?
Well, I have a question. Is dark vision considered one of my fiendish abilities?
Yes.
Oh,
Well, allow me to correct that. No, actually, yeah, that would be consistent. Yes.
okay.
Yes.
Then I can't see.
So you would not have dark vision.
I'm assuming I still have my light cantrip, so I'm just going to do that.
Okay, so I heard...
Which doesn't help everyone, but it helps me, and people are really immediately around me.
Do I still glow?
You can, yes. You can shed light as a torch at will.
Okay.
I guess
I
technically I can create a glow on myself as an action.
Yeah, and you can use the light stone as the focus of the glow ability. So you're welcome to have it emanate from you or from the stone, whichever you prefer. All right. So as you all begin producing these light effects, Rocky's internal, his red heart that he has inside of his body begins to glow this sort of a reddish light, casting a red glow on everything around, now filtered through green, and so maybe a little bit of a kaleidoscopic effect. Yara triggers what every mage knows how to do, a very simple light cantrip, and that comes along with the light sphere. Do you have the light sphere, Yara?
I do not.
Okay. We'll pretend that it happens. I'm not worried about it. And then the light stone itself also begins to let off this sort of plasmic, lighter than air kind of discharge, like a lava lamp without anything to contain it. And it just sort of begins to sort of dissipate the further away from the stone it gets. But that also offers the light of a torch, the equivalent. Are there any other people who would like to trigger light sources, or will that be sufficient for the party? Okay, sounds like that's what we're working with.
I'm a cat. I'm a kitty cat.
Yeah. Around this time, after Bran finishes his communion with nature, you hear the as closer and closer these croaking bullfrogs that are enormous in size compared to traditional bullfrogs begin sort of hopping along, slooshing from one sort of lily pad to another until they're able to join you next to Bran, larger than Bran himself, in fact. And in total, he is able to gather 5 of these enormous frogs around him. And I'll go ahead and pull up the stats for that so that I know what I'm talking about when I describe them.
Yeah, I got them too. Can I just tell them to scout ahead, come back if trouble? Is that simple enough?
Sure. How far would you like them? Well, I guess they don't really understand
Yeah.
like measurements. So how does Bran want to phrase these instructions?
I mean, just like that. If they happen to go too far, then that's one thing. But my intent would be probably like 30 to 50 feet.
Okay. So you're going to say, go that way, come back if there's trouble.
Yeah.
Okay.
I assume we're just moving northeast-ish into the swamps?
Northwest, yes.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
So from the forested area in the wetlands, you travel west mostly, but north as well as you're sort of following the coast. And the giant frogs, who are medium-sized, I think Bran is small-sized, isn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So these ginormous frogs all sit around you in this sort of like council-like half circle, and they all listen carefully as you describe what you want them to do, and they say, "Brr, brr," and they begin hopping off through the water. forward in the direction you indicated.
Nice.
They move at a speed of
30.
30-foot swim, so they will swoosh their way through the water, froggy style, and you quickly lose track of them as they head out.
Okay.
As you guys proceed, you hear the sounds of now the night insects picking up and beginning to make their sort of evening noises. You hear chitterings, you hear the fluttering of wings as dragonflies pass by. You hear the croaking of normal-sized frogs and perhaps large frogs as well. And every now and then you do hear the rustle of the leaves around you and above you as you realize that there are animals going about their traditional evening routines. Occasionally you do hear close by within maybe 5 or 10 feet something splash loudly and then wander off into the marshes. So far, it seems that nothing's messing with you, nothing's stopping you, and the frogs, Bran, don't come back.
Okay. Like ever, or just?
Well, up until now.
Okay, they have not come back yet. Cool.
You walk onward for maybe 5 minutes.
Okay, that's fine.
As
No
you
news is good news.
No. So as you proceed, you notice that the water is starting to lower a little bit. You're getting more ground under your feet, and you come to this area here. If you are would like, you can sort of enlarge your maps, and I'll show you what you can see. The ground is still quite covered with sort of water and other debris. Decaying trees. You notice that there are plenty of fungi around. Bran, you recognize that this might be an excellent location since you're not in combat. If you wanted to harvest some quick supplies, it wouldn't be anything that would require nothing in the high DC sort of situation because of what you're working with and how quickly you need to be moving. But
yeah.
Theoretically, you could collect a couple of items if you wanted to.
I'm not going to slow down the group, but if I happen to see something interesting, I'll pick it.
We'll treat this as basically you would find something that's of a lower DC, but go ahead and make a roll for, what did I say, survival?
Sounds right. 15.
Okay. This is the first time I've gotten to use my very special herbalism rules with Bran. Yay.
It's fun.
Okay. So 15 in the swamps. Excellent. There is one particular giant frog that you notice, not one of the ones you sent out, but as you get closer, you realize that it must have been attacked by some kind of snake. You see a couple of small pierce marks in its skin. And you see that the body is now sort of well on its way toward decay. But what you know about this kind of frog is that the poison glands inside are could theoretically survive with some viability for several weeks if you were able to get to them. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this over to your messenger.
Yeah.
And this is what you're able to discover. With a nature check, you should be able to harvest it.
14, I think.
14. Yeah, that's pretty good. So you quickly sort of take a couple of moments and bend down over this giant frog, and you peel back what's now a layer of rotting skin and plunge your hands into this thing's corpse, and you follow with your other hand and with a sort of short curved knife, and you clip out what would be a poison gland. And what you emerge with is what looks like maybe a liver. It smells horrible. But you end up successfully harvesting a giant frog poison gland.
Nice.
All right. So as you all proceed, I'll put you on the map here. There isn't really a narrow hallway, but what's the general marching order? Who's up first?
I'll go first and kind of scout.
Okay.
Do I have enough light behind me that I can kind of see?
I'll
Yeah.
go behind you.
Okay. Who's next?
I'll go.
All right. And after Hero?
I've got a light source. Does anybody else that hasn't gone yet?
I'm actually trying to look into that.
If
I imagine I have
if-
something, but
if none of you do, I suggest going at the rear just so we have a light in the front and in the back.
I can go in the back if nobody else has a light source for the back. That's fine.
No, that's what I'm saying is I've got light, so if none of the other 3 people who are ordered yet, I should go last.
Yara, how squishy are you?
Not particularly squishy.
Okay.
Surely not as much as Mekon because of his new class rules and spheres. So while I wouldn't be at the front lines on purpose, I can hold my own if I need to.
Good to know.
Well, I am a war mage, so.
Yeah, makes sense.
I mean Dominion mage. I mean.
Dominion Man. We'll go with Dominion Man.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm hearing Ronnie up front, then Rocky. Rocky has light. Then Yara and Hero. Are you going to be up front, mid, or back?
Sorry, what?
So Rocky is immediately behind Ronnie. He's there with the light.
Mm-hmm.
Hero and Yara, are you going middle or back?
I'll go after Rocky if Yara was going to go to the back.
Yeah, I can take up the rear guard.
And then we've got Bran and Jareth. In that order, unless you tell me differently.
That's
All
fine
right.
with me.
Okay. And then you're at the rear. So, yes, as you guys get closer, you begin to hear the sort of croaking of the giant frogs, and there are enough of them. You suspect that this is where the giant frogs stopped. And just for the sake of argument, I'm going to go ahead and throw down these dice to indicate the giant frogs. They sort of pause in this direction. And so you hear them, and then, of course, you travel toward them, and you discover that they're sort of sitting there, apparently not doing anything in particular. At this point, you do notice that the fog is beginning to get rather thick. And while you can see the frogs from this distance, past them, maybe 10, 20 feet past them, begins to get so thick you're not really able to see any further. And you suspect this is why the frogs stopped, because they didn't know how much further they were supposed to go.
I'm not really sure if they understand like heal, but walk 10 feet in front of me.
So, like, come back this way and be around me, please.
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like I can grunt that well enough.
Sure. So they'll come and gather around Bran a little bit. Ronnie, what is your passive perception?
Sorry, what?
What is your passive perception?
16.
Okay. As you're sloshing through the water, and the frogs were now sort of coming back in the direction of Bran, he kind of calms them down, and they try to croak as quietly as possible while they're receiving instructions. In the resultant relative quiet, again, you hear the noises of the forest around you in all directions, and the sort of chittering of the insects. you also hear something else that seems out of place, not insect or animal. You hear the quiet, pained moaning of a woman coming from this direction.
Okay. Moaning? Like what kind of moaning?
I'll make an insight check.
Uh, 21.
You've heard of someone sound like this when they've lost a loved one, but it goes between that and the sound of somebody who's like just been stabbed in the gut and left to die.
Okay. I will whisper to everybody. There's somebody up in that hut thing. I can't tell if they're hurt or not. But I hear someone up there. I'll pull out my sword just in case.
Like, should we investigate or just light it on fire?
Oh, I don't know.
I'll start walking towards it.
Oh, and
I'm getting flashbacks of the Nothic.
Yeah.
I'm pulling out my silver sword because I forgot to fill up my hilt with something different. So
Okay.
I'm just gonna pull up that for now.
Okay.
I guess we can go investigate. So I'm gonna what?
Do you want to take point and then we can surround it slightly?
Sure, that's fine. I'm gonna try to sneak up there so we don't, in case it's dangerous, they don't know we're coming. So
Okay.
we're stealthy.
You're starting from a location of water, so this will be at disadvantage, but you can make your stealth check.
How far away are we from it at this moment?
Let's see. Here, Ronnie's starting 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, about 35, 40 feet.
If I move at half speed, I get advantage. So if I move at half speed, will I just get a straight roll?
Yeah, you cancel it out.
Okay.
I would like.
At half speed, does she get advantage?
Well, if you don't move at all, you don't make any sound.
Be like Drax. I move.
I would like to move.
Basically invisible.
I would like to move just so I'm right at 30 feet away.
Okay.
I rolled 26.
Rocky, will you be moving stealthily as well?
Up to within 30 feet. Yes, I will try and do it stealthily.
Okay, go ahead and make your stealth check at disadvantage. Allison, what was the roll on your stealth?
26.
And how close are you getting?
That will only be half speed, so 15 feet.
Okay, so 5, 10, 15. And Rocky?
I'm going to throw my inspiration on there.
Okay.
Well, I don't have any penalties, so that's 11 total.
Ronnie, as you're stepping forward, you're able to find just the right footing on some sort of more solid ground as you find like large flat rocks under the water. And you're able to sort of carefully shift your weight between one rock and the next until you're able to get on land and then move around the water until you can find something dry to step on. It seems that everything's gone pretty well so far. And then behind you, you hear as all of the lily pads that you were able to avoid are now being sloshed to one side and the other as Rocky's huge bulk begins to shove itself through this watery region. You get within 30 feet, Rocky. Well done.
I don't know why I even try.
I'm just going to sigh, and I'm going to stop sneaking and just walk normal.
As you approach the tent, you see this woman.
Can I follow up behind with one of my toads?
Sure.
On one of my toads?
You want to be on one of your toads?
Do I need to do like a writing check or something? Or
Yeah, we'll call it acrobatics.
yeah, man. 12.
That's fair enough. You stay on.
Okay.
They use their swim speed to get closer. Ronnie, this woman you see cloaked in a white cloak, wearing a silver-colored breastplate and gold-colored chain, not chain, scale mail underneath. You see that she's carrying a staff that appears to be made out of some kind of white material, possibly wood or ivory. And the either end of this staff sort of laying beside her and out of her outstretched hand is sort of seated along the height of it, looking like a column. And then on the other end is a large white.
You're echoing really bad. I can't really understand what you're saying.
How about now?
That's better. Yeah.
Okay. So this staff is fluted along the sides, looking like a column, and then on either end, on one end, you see a large ball. The whole thing being made of some kind of white material. You recognize this as the same kind of staff that you found in Eusoria. That once belonged to the now undead companion of Yakris, but also currently being used by the Sentinels of Peace. You remember having seen on the tips of the balls of these stabs, the Sentinels of Peace would carry a single white dove with a plumed crest on its head. You see no dove anywhere nearby, and the staff is sort of laying on the ground as the woman with her other hand is clutching her chest, and you see what looks like a pair of yellow threads that appear to be emerging from her sternum. And the two threads appear to be frayed at both of those ends. As you look at them, you realize they are glowing, and they don't appear to be physically connected to her. They appear to be emerging from her body through her breastplate. She continues to moan.
I'm going to whisper for Jareth to get his ass up here.
So you activate your badge.
Why?
I don't know what to say to this one.
Okay, hang on. After seeing Rocky just slosh through the water, I will make my way up there. I will stay on the dry land part.
Can I actually follow behind?
Sure.
Maybe say 20
At
feet
this
back.
point,
Like right there. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. At this point, I'm not super worried about stealth. You guys have kind of thrown that to the wind, so
Yeah.
you're being careful, but your cover's kind of blown at this point.
Do I recognize what this might be?
Make an Arcana check at advantage.
That's awesome. That is a 7. Use my inspiration. Oh yeah, sure. I'll use my inspiration.
Okay.
Hang on. I will inspire myself to not be a dumbass. 17.
Lovely. All right. I have put the results in the messenger for you.
Okay. Oh, hey, I actually don't have messenger up.
She appears to be in constant, excruciating pain.
Oh.
That looks painful.
Am I able to see inside this tent from my distance?
I mean, yeah, the tent flap at this point is kind of being held back by either Jareth or Ronnie.
Okay.
But yeah, you
Well,
see this
seeing
woman.
how my companions are complete assholes, I'll go ahead and go in and see what's wrong with her.
Okay, so you hop off your frog.
Don't touch her. Her fate has been undone.
What?
So okay? Do you see the tendrils coming from out of her?
Do I see tendrils coming out of her?
Yeah, you see a couple of like what look like magical glowing yellow threads emerging from her chest.
Oh, that's not right.
They both appear to be frayed at the tips.
Those are fate lines.
Can you just tie him back up or something?
Okay, so right off the bat, is this some sort of physical ailment or is something weird going on?
That one back up.
Bran, make an Arcana check.
Can I just do a medicine? I just want to see if she's physically hurt.
No, you're welcome to do a medicine check. That sounds great.
Yeah. Okay, that's a 15. Something medically wrong with her?
You successfully identify that there is nothing medically wrong with her.
I'm going to back up.
What is going on up there? I say from the rear guard.
Why are you still back there?
Somebody has to keep a lookout for other things. I look around the swamp.
That's how you got eaten. Get up here.
It would appear someone is injured, but it's not a physical ailment.
No, her fate has been severed.
I'll take a look.
Okay.
I'm
Yara.
not exactly sure how to fix that.
Oh, that can't possibly be good.
Sirius and I mostly dealt with timey-wimey magic-y things. This
All right, go ahead and make
seems
an
a
Arcana
little
check.
bit different. Similar, but different.
Oh, shoot. Let me look.
I want to keep an active eye out around us to make sure nothing's.
Go ahead and make a perception check.
14. I rolled pretty bad, even though I have a pretty good check to that. Actually, I just got a new ability that I'm going to test out.
Okay.
So, what is that called? I think it's like prodigious skill or something. I can spend a spell point and take a 15.
Okay.
Oh, dang, that's
Cool.
So I'm going to do that, and that gives me a 25 on my Arcana instead.
Great. Do you have the Fate Sphere?
I don't have the Fate Spear.
Okay. With a 25, you are able to successfully identify that this woman has been affected by some effect from the Fate Sphere. You have, in your magical education, learned the theory behind the weave of fate and how each person has a thread that is woven through the fate of time, basically. And if a person's strand of fate is ever severed, that means that their destiny is simultaneously uncertain and perhaps doomed.
So there's not likely anything we can do for her at this point.
Not that you know of with a 25.
Okay. I can tell that she's had her fate unbound, but I don't think there's anything I can do for her. I'm not schooled in the ways of fate magic.
I'm trying to remember my little trip with Sirius.
So sorry, Fireball. No. Just put her out of her misery.
I experienced something similar on a trip with Sirius. Although I think that was more tied to my magical abilities, but it felt like it was myself being injured as well, which I was able to fix somehow. Again, I think it was more magically bound. We were messing with the ley lines around the world. And it was binding them back together. I imagine we could do the same, something similar, but we need somebody, either a practitioner of fate or the fate stone itself. Do the tendrils seem to be pointing in any given direction, or are they just flopping around like the thing?
It's like their movement is akin to perhaps like seaweed underwater, where it's just being it's only anchored by the woman herself. Everything the strands themselves just sort of like flow in this ambient sort of just the weave of fate. They aren't anchored to anything anymore. They've been cut off.
So we need the fake stone to help her.
Probably.
Or someone who's versed in the fate sphere.
Madam, can you hear us?
She looks like she's fighting staying conscious. Maria, no!
Do you know, madam, how long have you been like this?
Don't speak to him. He can't. You won't survive.
She's trapped in a loop of some sort, perhaps reliving a moment.
Yes, I'm just wondering how long she's been here. Oh. One moment, please. I'm going to cast a spell.
Roll a
Fireball.
perception.
Okay.
No,
We're getting back to the perception check.
I am going to cast retroactive preparation to do using I believe it's the research version of it.
Okay.
To go back, because I don't know. I guess I'm just going to go back 15 weeks into the past in this exact spot and just wait around and see what happens.
Ooh, okay. So is this a sphere ability?
Yes, this is the time sphere.
Okay.
Hang on, let me find the actual page number.
Yeah.
7. If you're looking at the physical book, it's 196.
Okay.
You can't miss it. It takes up half the page.
Yeah, that helped a lot. Great.
I do.
So you said retroactive.
I have the time sphere.
Preparation. Oh, here it is. Okay. And you're choosing research.
Research.
You can alter the task. You have spent time researching a subject. You have expertise. You add your proficiency bonus twice when making an intelligence check regarding the subjects. Okay. Green Dragons, this city, Arcana, Geography. Got it. For 1 hour, provided you have been there. Past week per level, retroactively spending time to research this. Okay. And up to 100 gold pieces per level to gain access to such research materials. All right. So while you don't have research materials on hand.
Right, but I think in the spirit of the spell is to go back in time to then spend time researching. Now, my idea here was instead of doing that, I'm literally just going to be waiting in this spot to see what happens.
So I'm going to treat this very similarly to the way you've handled scries in the past. Basically, your vision will be forced backward in time, and you will be able to go backward in time a certain amount of whatever the duration is that you were mentioning.
Let's see. This person couldn't be alive. Let's see. I think it's what is it? I'm assuming they're sitting here are completely helpless. They can't drink water, so they can die in 3 days. Let's go back. Let's go back a week.
Okay. So, and that's within the duration you're able to go back, yeah?
1 week per level.
Okay, yeah, then you're fine. So you watch as your consciousness remains in this spot and your body walks away backward from you, as well as all the rest of your companions. You see the fog sort of rolling in and out in almost this, at this speed with a time lapse going backward in time. It feels almost like the swamp is breathing. And after what you take to be several hours, this woman sort of rolls over wearily onto her onto her elbows, and she grasps the staff and begins scooting her way backward into the swamp further this direction. And you notice that there's a bit of a yellow trail that she's scooting back over, and as she scoots over it, it disappears, and then she disappears into the fog. You see perhaps several hours go by in reverse, and then you see that there are two individuals now walking backward out of the fog this direction as they stand and talk sort of in this area with each other, and it appears that they're arguing with one another. The bird, the white dove of one of them flies backward out of the swamp and onto the staff of one of them, and then you see that a second dove comes and lands on the staff of the other one. The woman that's standing there looks like the one that you found, and then the other woman looks like this. She's wearing a very similar kind of set of armor, a gold scale under the silver breastplate, both wearing white cloaks and carrying the exact same staff. Both appear to be sentinels of peace. You see the sign on their tabards. You see that several more hours pass, and they retreat back into the tent. They appear to be conversing, and they go out at regular intervals, one at a time, maybe every 4 hours or so, and sort of go into the fog and then back out again, into the fog and back out again. It looks like they're sort of on a rotation of doing watches. As you go back several days now, you see that more of these sentinels come sort of marching backward out of the swamp in pairs. And every hour or so, another pair will return, and they all begin to converse with one another. And slowly, as more return to the camp, then another pair goes from the camp off sort of the direction you guys came, really, back into the sort of the traversable wet marshlands. And you see that a steady stream of a pair of these sentinels of peace come to the camp, and another pair goes back and retreats into the marshland. So on and so forth until you see basically each of them come in, and finally the woman that you see in the tent here and her companion are the only ones left, and they too begin to sort of like investigate, look around. It looks like at this point now, again in reverse, they're taking down a tent and they're packing it away, and they begin to sort of stow everything into backpacks, and they begin to march steadily kind of backward out of this area, the direction all their companions came. And at that point, the tent is gone, and the sort of wilderness area appears to be vacant. That would have been maybe 4 or 5 days ago. If you continue to look back, as the hours pass, you continue to see that there are no other people that come or go.
Okay, I will end the effect.
Okay.
Snap back. Ooh, okay, that was a new experience. All right, and so the other sentinels were in. Did they only come from the way we came, or did they also come in and out of the mist?
So you recognize that all of if you put it sort of in reverse, so you understand the timeline, you realize that basically this woman and her companion were the vanguard. They were the ones who came in.
Right, they showed up first.
As the sentinels came in pairs, that pair would be sent off into the mists. And then when that one didn't come back, another one would come in and be sent off into the mists, and so on and so forth.
Okay.
And so every pair of sentinels that was sent off into the mist never came back. And so at a certain point, it seemed that they had sent their own doves into the mist to see if anything would happen. The doves, of course, never came back. And then they argued for a time about what to do. And this woman's companion, who you take to be Maria, wandered off into the mist and never came back. And the woman you see here wandered into the mist and was the only one to return, dragging behind her severed threads of fate.
Okay. I will relay that all to the group. So, Yara, not Yara, Hero.
Yes.
Wait, the Sentinels of Peace. Wait, were those were from Euzoria, right?
Those
I
Oh,
don't know
that's
who
right.
these people are.
Yeah, that's right. Sorry, I'm mixing up my
What
orders.
people
Actually, Hero, you would know who the Sentinels of Peace are as an organization. They were the ones who trained your order in using light.
Because there was crossover.
That's
right?
what I was thinking.
Sorry.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
yes, this is somebody from the Sentinel of Peace. There was actually a whole host here. 2 by 2, they went into the fog. None returned, except for her, and her fate is all kinds of fucked.
Well, that's kind of freaky because I mean everything that the Sunzel monks learned, they taught us. If they can't do something here, it's probably pretty.
I just find it odd. Yes, but I also find it odd that they are here.
I mean, I
Were
don't
you
know
aware of
much
any
about-
excursions to go after the stones?
Do I know of anything about that? I feel like I don't know much about them outside of what training they gave us.
Right. So I'll say make a history check.
Especially me, because I never left the monastery before this. History?
Yeah.
Natural 1.
Oh wow.
Plus,
You have a
Oh, no,
feeling.
no,
You have a feeling that the Sentinels of Peace are pretty well just centered in Euzoria. They shouldn't really ever leave. That doesn't make any sense to you.
Yeah, that sounds really weird. And the only reason that we crossed over with them at the monastery at all is because of some whole, outreach thing, I think.
Would you be able to ask your librarian friend real quick if they know anything?
Actually, that's not a bad idea. I'll pull out the parchment and write off to... First off, is there any new...
Right. So the news that you got from this morning was essentially no news.
Okay.
So you did not see anything new written.
Cool. Well, I will ask, do we know of any reason the Sentinels of Peace might be dicking around... What's this forest?
Marshes of Madness.
Is that actually what it's called on a map, though?
Well, I mean, it isn't marked on the map. It's just known as the marshes. But if you give him coordinates on the map, he'll be able to tell exactly what you're talking about.
I'll do that.
Okay.
Or anything like this, and that's what I'll ask.
Okay. It looks like he waits another couple of minutes, and he writes back. Asked around. The Sentinels. One troop was sent from Euzoria to investigate possible anomalies. The Weather Guild has been investigating. Many of them have returned, but some have not.
Classic Weather Guild.
More have returned since the closing of the Rift. Those in the marshes likely were sent to investigate the weather anomalies that they heard of from the Weather Guild.
Okay, I will. Once he's done with all that, I will fill the party in.
Okay.
I feel like the Weather Guild is like reporting on the daily news, but like half the time they die.
They're like storm chasers, but they don't get out of the way of the tornado.
Yeah, they just like exactly.
They're dedicated to it.
So, Hero,
Yeah.
we have reached the fateful day and time when you now have a limited number of words left on your scroll.
I'm writing as small as I can.
No, it's fine. It's fine. For the sake of mechanics, we'll go ahead and say you have 73 words left.
Ooh, okay. Now I get to play Jester.
Yes.
Okay, well, I'm done asking things for now, so I'll roll it up and tuck it away.
All right. So go ahead and write down the number 73 somewhere and keep track of how many words you use.
I will write TY.
Okay. We'll count that as one word.
That counts as one word. Okay.
Yeah.
Hopefully you are the anti-jester.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't think I'd be quite as wasteful as her.
Hey, it's me, Hiro. I'm over here in the marshes.
Are
It's
you
pretty
pooping?
cloudy.
Just don't put spaces and it's all one word.
Right?
Right?
Oh, geez.
Can I turn it over and write on the back?
No, unfortunately, the enchantment only works on one side.
All right. I'm sure there's some store in Uzoria that can sell me more.
Is going complete nerd, but I know in the 19th century they would write their paragraph and then they would turn it over and then write bottom to top. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Like they would turn it 90 degrees and begin writing this way.
No, 180. But basically, if you flipped it,
Yeah.
and then right in between the lines.
Uh-huh. They would do that too. I've heard of both of those things.
Anyways.
All right. So
Nerds.
You discover what you do. You pass along this information.
Did I notice anything sneaking up on us with that 20 perception?
So with that 20 perception, you do actually start to hear something going on in the fog. But it's still you detect that you know that you would have to get closer in order to determine what exactly was going on.
Okay.
You start to hear like some sounds and voices.
Should we go back to the key and get what's his nuts to blow the fog away so we can see what we're doing?
I get.
I think it'll work. Why not?
Maybe we need to go get Gooseman to kind of blow the fog away.
Can't we just call Astra?
Yeah.
He's a big tough guy. He can walk his way to us, right?
Do I suspect that this fog is of a magical nature and it cannot just simply be blown away?
We haven't been walking often. How long have we been walking?
Roll Arcana. Actually, no. Do you have the weather sphere? Oh no, Chad froze.
Hey.
Now he's just kind of staring amusedly. Oh, how interesting. Wait, you're starting to break up.
That's funny.
There what? He's almost back. Yep. He's getting there. Come on back to us, buddy. Now you're moving.
It's funny because I can hear everybody else, but I guess I'm breaking up.
Okay, so we can hear you now, but you're still a little bit sketchy. So say again what you're going to do.
I have the weather sphere, so I'm just wanting to know if this fog can be blown away or not, or if it's...
With the weather sphere, you know that it is not produced by the weather sphere. It appears to be something that is a natural phenomenon. However, you suspect, based on the experience that you've had talking to Mekon about weather sphere phenomena, that this is probably the result of some other magical effect that just simply happens to be producing this kind of fog. So while theoretically it is a natural phenomenon, it's being caused by magic.
I suppose we could give it a try, Ronnie, but I'm not sure if the effect continues generating this strange fog, blowing it away may only be a temporary reprieve. It may continue to flow from the source.
It might give us an idea of where to go, though. Or more of an idea of what's going on in there. It's up to you.
I think it's worth a try.
Okay, so you guys communicate with Astra.
Oh, yeah, that would be me.
Yeah. With the Mind Stone dealing.
You
What was
mentally...
Goose Guy's name?
What's that?
What was the Goose Guy's name again?
Prague.
Prague?
I was going to
Yeah.
say Prada.
No.
Prada.
So you ask, gosh, I'm getting all the names in my brain right now. You ask Artax to connect you to Astra. That uses a spell point, and you have 25 words to spend on a message, and she can respond with.
Artax is like a switchboard.
Correct. Yeah, so he's connecting you to Astra. You can speak with 25 words, and she'll respond with 25 words.
All right. Send Prague our way. We need the weather stone. Need him to blow away some fog. Go fast, please. It's getting really dark here.
Okay. She responds, I have told Prague to come your direction. I am asking him to bring the Weatherstone. We will send others as well to protect him.
I don't respond. But I don't know. How many? I can only do that like once, right?
You use one spell point out of the Mind Stone's possible 6.
Okay.
So you might keep track somewhere how many you used.
Okay. But that's like daily, so that's not.
Yeah, it'll replenish after 24 hours, after a long rest, basically.
Okay.
Okay, so you've put in your request. What would you like to do next?
I'll point out the sounds in the fog.
Okay.
Just to make sure everybody's aware.
Sure. Before you're able to do that, Hero, go ahead and make a charisma saving throw, please.
Ooh.
Charisma. It's
Not like
pretty
that.
good at charisma. 18.
Okay. You feel like there's something in the fog that you really need to do, but you're not quite sure what it is. And you turn away and you return to your friends to tell them what's going on.
Did that seem normal, or did I catch that?
Oh no, it seems fine.
Okay.
There's something in the fog
Yeah.
that you need to do.
I heard something in there.
Like what?
I don't know. It just was movement. I just wanted you guys to know.
Can I try to look into the fog and see if I notice anything?
Sure. Yeah, go ahead and make your perception check.
Uh, 18.
Okay. You do start to kind of hear some like noises and voices. They seem to sort of rebound off of each other and quiet down very quickly. You're thinking maybe this might be the result of like the fog itself. Maybe it's muffling the sound or something. As you're sitting here sort of staring into the fog and listening very closely, you can't see past about 5 feet. Go ahead and make a charisma saving throw, though.
Oh, no.
Okay. There's something in this fog that you really need to take care of, but you feel like you can probably put it off a little bit.
Okay. I'll just be like, yeah, I get what you mean. Something out there.
Can I smell anything that doesn't belong?
Sure, you can go up to the fog and sniff around a little bit. Go ahead and make your perception check.
18.
Smells wet, swampy.
Great.
Rotting wood, lily pads probably somewhere in there. Pretty damp. Now that you're this close, though, go ahead and make your charisma saving throw.
One at a time.
That's actually a 12. Hey, that's not bad. Oh, hold on. I'm going to use it. Hold on. Hey, there we go. 17.
17, nice. Yeah, there's something in this fog. It's really weird. Like you get this smell like, oh man, that's it reminds you of this particular component you remember harvesting once upon a time, way back in the day when you used to be able to do that. And you're like, oh, you recognize that smell. You can't quite place it. There's something inside of this fog that you need. You really need something in here, but you think you can probably hang on a second while you and your companions talk a little bit more.
Do we need to like tie each other to ropes and stuff?
I'm gonna go jump on Rocky.
I get out the divination stone and see if I can use it as a compass, perhaps, to guide me to the
Sure.
stone.
I will accept the use of a spell point for an Arcana roll.
Okay. That's a 22.
Okay, with this kind of proximity, you realize that the only way you're going to get a solid reading is to get as close as you can. And so you follow it. But the closer you get to the fog, the more you start to sense that the divination stone, where it used to be this sort of like fairly thin sort of beam offering you a specific direction, the closer you get to the fog, the more that beam widens and it almost becomes like almost fills the entire stone, as if the fog itself is the direction you need to go. And now that you're this close, go ahead and make your Christmas saving throw.
Yeah. I gotta look up what my bonus is. It's not very good. 13.
Okay. So, Chad, if you could do me a favor and go back to our conversation we had over message, I'd like you to go ahead and say what Mekon would say.
In that particular situation?
Uh-huh.
I'm just remembering last time Jay took Chad off to the side to have a little conversation. And then he stabbed him.
Yeah, sorry, I'll look it up. You'll sing my precious feathers and buttons! No!
And as you all hear this reverberate through the swamp coming from out of the fog, you watch as Yara slowly walks into the fog and disappears.
Ah, crap.
Yara?
Yara does.
Yara?
I'm gonna try something.
Yep.
I'm gonna cast Trailblaze, and this
Cool.
page
What is
176.
Trailblaze? Sorry?
It's page 176 for me. I don't know what it's gonna do.
That's fine.
I think it's under Fire Mastery. Let me see.
Okay.
Thermology. There we go. Thermalurgy. Thermalurgy. Okay, that's a word.
Okay. Yeah. Thermoturgy. Excellent. Trailblaze. You create a wave of ash, hot air, and smoke in a 120-foot line, which reveals a safe path to traverse, allowing creatures to ignore difficult terrain with the affected area for 1 minute. Creatures who are caught in the area of effect when first cast must succeed on a Constitution saving throw or suffer 1 level of exhaustion. Okay. So you spend your 1 spell point. You tap into the powers of nature, and you place your palms together. You're sitting on top of Rocky's shoulders. And as you bring both of your hands down in sort of a chopping motion, you see the fog momentarily sever into 2.
Nice.
And then as the blade of hot air goes through the fog, you see the fog swirl and immediately fill in the gaps. And you see there's a line of hot ash, fire, and so on going in front of you in this direction. But as it passes into the fog, you see that some other effect is currently causing this fog to fill it in. The way that you would interpret this, based on the reading of the ability, is that there is no safe path. There is a safe path up to the fog. But
Do
not
I see Yara for even a split second?
Make a perception check at disadvantage.
Wow, that's a nat 20 and an 18. How about that?
Woo! Okay, nice.
So, I mean, that's
What
going to be 30, 20
What you see as the fog parts for even just a moment is that Yara is there, and she's continuing to walk slowly into the fog. But as the fog rolls into to cover her position and then rolls back out again in the sort of the backdraft of the wave, you see that same spot, that same location in space is revealed one more time before it's filled in with fog again, and she's not there.
All right, should like shit. I got nothing.
I take it that's probably what's going to happen if we try to blow on it too.
I'm gonna tell one of my frogs to go after.
Okay.
As it goes, can I cast a glow on it?
Sure.
Okay, it has to make a dex save, I think. Or no, wait. Maybe I have to hack it.
It willingly fails. It willingly fails.
I was gonna say.
Okay.
You glow.
I'll put a glow on it, and then I'm going to use a bonus action to brighten it, so that it's, I think it's 15 foot. I just want to see what happens to the light when it goes into the fog.
Okay. As the frog hops happily into the fog, you see that there is the glow that it brings with it does get muffled quite a bit. It does light up the interior of this fog space, and as you see it go, it begins to sort of widen a little bit, and then suddenly it shrinks, although it doesn't disappear, and sort of widens a little bit more and shrinks, and then it appears someplace else, and then it appears someplace else, and then it disappears.
That was interesting.
Mr. Hoppy?
No response.
So do we wait on Prague, or do we tie rope around each other and venture forth to go find Yara?
Well, the longer we wait, the further she's going to get. And Prague's not going to be of any use to us. That wind's not going to do anything to this stuff.
All right.
Rope.
Rope?
We gotta go in there.
Yeah, let's tie up. Any particular order?
Light apparently helps a little bit. So people with light. Yara walked off. So I have light. Who else has light? Rocky?
I do.
He has the Weatherstone, and I don't want that lost. So
It's true.
should we tell him to go back?
He can't. He's already departed, hasn't he? I don't think anybody can reach him until he gets here.
I can talk to him again, and they can. Only what's her name?
How long do you
It'll
take
be
us to
fine. It'll be fine.
I'm gonna send another message,
Okay.
and it's just gonna be like, "Tell Prague, don't go in the fog."
That's it?
Don't go near the fog. Don't touch the fog.
Maybe
Don't smell the fog.
he should just turn around and go back to the key.
Go back.
Okay. You hear Astra respond. We have already sent him out maybe 10, 20 minutes ago. He should be on his way. We can certainly send someone after him to bring him back, but they will have to move quickly. You guys know that the amount of time it took you to get to this location was a couple of hours.
Crap.
Oh well, then yes, have them try to fetch him back. That's better than us waiting here for an hour and plus.
Okay.
We gotta
I'll
meet
say,
Yara.
yes, go get his ass and bring him back.
Absolutely, no problem. We will send them out right now, right away. And you hear her begin to send orders, and then the message cuts off.
I have 3 spells left on that, so I'm not going to just. If you want to say anything, say it now. Because what?
And
Go get his ass and bring him back. I have some more words.
We could
Well,
ask them to prepare some soup because it's kind of chilly.
nice. I mean, that
He's
being
got
said,
rope. We need to go.
Rocky wants chili when we get back.
I don't know that I have rope. I don't know that I have an adventurer's pack or
I
anything.
have rope. I have all the rope.
So, Rocky, the way we've been able to resolve that in the past is that you have the basic adventuring gear. It's just all made out of gemstone. So if you wanted to use rope, you would basically create a chain made out of gem.
Ooh, that'd be kind of cool. Would the whole thing glow?
If you wanted it to.
nice.
Yeah, let's do that.
Comfortable fleshies.
have
Oh.
rope. I have normal rope.
I have rope too.
Wait, do you have that string?
I have string, but it's not very strong.
No.
Yeah, I don't think the infinite string is.
I'm going to tie the string to the hut, and I'm going to trail it like Hansel and Gretel.
Yeah.
Nice.
Near me in the line, also, I'm going to wrap the rope around the immovable rod I've got, but not activate it.
Okay.
But it'll be there. I'll have it in my hand, wrapped with the rope, so I can activate it at a moment's notice.
So you've got string tied to the tent, and you have rope tied to an immovable rod that has not yet been activated.
Where'd the string come in?
Me, my infinite string,
I thought
so we
we
can
were
follow
using that
back.
because it was really, really fragile.
Just as a trail.
It's better than nothing.
Yeah.
Especially when it seems like things move around here.
I will point at Rocky. This guy could probably like knock it with his ankle and it would snap, right? I feel like that would be pointless.
Well, then he won't be in front of the string.
All right.
And I mean, hopefully we can
it's
find this
infinite. It's not like we're going to run out.
I'm
We're
more
gonna
concerned
die
that we
anyway,
don't have a
doesn't matter.
heading. Our divination stone just walked away. We literally
need to
have
go.
no idea where to go.
I go.
All
I
right.
bought this string. I'm going to use, damn it.
All right, tie us together. Let's get in there.
Jareth, as you and the others begin to tie yourselves together, you feel a hand on your ankle.
Who's touching me?
As you look down, you see that the woman in the tent with the dangling fate threads has now locked you in a stare. And you can see that she's sort of gasping for the ability to speak. And she says, "It's real. Don't be deceived. It's all real. It's actually happening at all times. All of it. Don't be deceived." And she passes out.
That was freaky. Let's get going.
Where are we going?
That way. I point off in the fog.
Can we see how high up this fog goes?
I mean, it's maybe 20, 25 feet tall.
I mean, that's it.
As far as you can tell from this distance, yeah.
But at the same time, even if we get up above, are we going to see anything? Should we go look above? I don't even know what we're looking for here.
I've got this image in my brain of Rocky, like just picking Bran up and just chucking him into the air.
I mean, I'm fine with that. I have the alteration stone, but yeah, I'm fine with that too.
I don't think you're going to be able to see anything in there, though.
But I don't even know what we're looking for.
All right, you want me to throw you up?
Calm down.
Let's go.
Okay. So what marching order have we got?
Who's the most perceptive?
I feel like either me or Ronnie.
I have a 15 passive perception, which I know is not the highest, but it's not low.
I have 16.
21.
I can go second just to give light, but I mean, I'm going to not be able to see anything and be easily lured into this because
You're not going anywhere. I mean, I'm fine with Rocky and I leading the pack. That would make sure he doesn't trip up on the string either.
I'll go in the back since I've got the immovable rod tied on the end. And when we go in, can I cast glow on myself and brighten it?
Sure.
What I'll do
I'll
is
go,
sorry.
Are you able to target a creature with the light, with the glow?
Yeah, you can target a creature.
Okay,
I'll
cool.
do it to myself, but I took the dual light talent for my
Okay.
level up, I'm going to that lets me apply 2 different glow effects at once.
Okay.
So I will use, actually, I did not take the other one I thought I took. So I'll just make light. That's all. It'll just be a 15-foot bright light.
Okay. All right.
I will go second to last. I guess you're in the middle. That's something.
Okay. So we've got Bran and Finney coming up front, and then Rocky immediately behind them with the light. We've got Jareth, Ronnie, and then Hero in the back also with light.
Yes.
Okay. Bran.
Sorry, I was reading my speak with elements because I think it's going to be worthless here.
Not a problem. You hear a voice the moment you pass into the fog. Chelsea, if you will go ahead and refer back to our conversation.
Now we know what it might take.
You recognize immediately the voice of Kathy. Rocky, as you pass into the fog, you hear the time wizard that you met in the Pyrium Spire in the world below. And all around you, you hear the churning of arcane machinery. And there's some kind of the sound of a pulse that appears to be mounting in intensity. And the voice of the time wizard, the seraph, says, Guarkaiduad, do not use this power. It will only spell doom for the world below.
Okay.
And you pass into the fog. Jareth. You hear Bran's voice. Charles.
I swear on my dead relatives, I am your man forever.
And you pass into the fog.
I thought you were gonna do Erlason. No side quests.
As a matter of fact, Ronnie,
Yes.
you pass into the fog. And Ronnie, you hear the sound of squelching meat and blood. You recognize the sound of a deep wound. And then you hear faintly whispered, please help. And you recognize it immediately with Erlason's voice. And finally, Hero. You hear a voice you have never heard before. But you recognize the sound of this kind of creature. Those like you, where you come from, have dealt with their kind before. No role necessary. You recognize it as a Night Vale specter.
Okay.
Who says to you, my Empress, you need but command me, and the Shadow Horde is yours to command. And you pass into the fog. And that's what we're going to call game.
I don't know. It sounds pretty sweet. We could use a shadow army.
Yeah.
I gotta admit, whenever you actually messaged me that, I was like, well, Jay's killing my character tonight.
Oh man.
It's not over yet.
That's true. Well, tonight is, at least.
Yeah.
You can
Tonight,
kill him off
yes.
next week.
Where did
You were just
Yara
off a
go?
session.
Where did Yara go?
Where did Yara go?
Into the
It's really
fog.
annoying, like, the one person that actually knew where we were going is...
Yeah, I don't have very good charisma save, unfortunately, so...
I have a -2.
Well, I have better than that, but not much.
Yeah, I even have better than that.
Well, this should be interesting.
Oh yeah. Sigh.
So those of you who are listening online, thanks so much for joining us. I guess we'll see you next time. Bye.